Hey Booktube, this is Maria at MH Books and I'm going to do a tag here today, and it's a very special tag because this is for Doris of Audiobooks' 51st birthday. I was tagged originally in a tag for her 50th birthday, obviously this time last year, by Shaun the book Maniac, but it was also the beginning of other things happening, so I wasn't able to film very quickly, and my mother always taught me you should never be late for somebody's birthday. So I put it in my diary and it worked for once. I got the notification to do this for Doris of Audiobooks' 51st birthday. And as this tag has an extra bonus challenge in it, I decided to take the bonus challenge on. So the book selections will be selected with that in mind a little bit. It will also be my 51st birthday this year, which wasn't celebrated last year when it was 50, and it won't be celebrated this year either, unfortunately, because it's in the summer in Ireland, so we're not out of lockdowns, so maybe next year. But meanwhile, as a celebration, I'm going to use, if Doris doesn't mind, her 51st birthday, to select a TBR that I must read before my 51st birthday. Okay, long-winded explanation for the beginning. So shall we get on with the year-old tag, folks? I'm dressed, by the way, in green. It's St. Patrick's Day today, but that's why I'm wearing it, because this is my running t-shirt from work. So that's why I'm dressed in green. Not the most attractive colour, and I really would love to wash my hair, but it's kind of pointless if you're about to run and get sweaty. Okay, so the questions. The laptop is below, so I'm going to have to do that. I'm sorry. So enjoy my double chin, folks, as I read the questions out. Okay. So it's based on Doris's name. D is for Doris, a book written by and or about a Doris. I didn't realise I have no books written by a Doris. I know, it was disgraceful. It was really disgraceful. It was. They obviously know about a book written by a Doris. They've eaten most of my books. If you actually see some of my bookshelves, you will see like what look like really battered books. That's them eating them. Whenever they feel like nesting, when the two hens feel like nesting, they eat those. But anyway, but I do have a book about our Doris that I haven't read it, so I have to read now before I'm 51. And I got it specifically from, this is why I'm going to stop you every time, because I don't want to bend back. It's rude. I disappeared the book. This is, I actually got this directly from Charles Heathcote, another booktuber. At the time, directly from him. Thank you for your support, Maria. And Maria hasn't read them. So I actually have all three books of his series. I think this is the second one, and Indisputably Doris. So these will be the first ones I read, and this is what they are about. I'm going to take this to the second book, so it's probably a good one to read the blurb from. So Indisputably Doris is the second book in a series of monologues featuring Doris Copeland, a partridge muse, an atomic housewife, and owner of a rock bun recipe that can make the most secure dentures shudder. Join her once more as she battles Pandra O'Malley for her position as chairwoman of the WI. Her campaign brings her against flu, would-be elves, and a bake sale that may just cover for more nefarious means. I can't read any of this without actually hearing it. And Charles Heathcote actually reading, because I've seen him so many times reading, especially from the first book. So first book, Indisputably Doris, but I think actually Doris the books has actually read. I am so bad. I'm so sorry. Next question is, can I do this about? Oh, it's for outside your comfort zone. I actually want to go outside soon. A book you've read or want to read that was well outside of your comfort zone. Okay, I have two books for this. I should have limited it to one, but these are the books. Hold on till I get them. Okay, two books set in Northern Ireland during the Troubles. I don't find reading about the Troubles in Northern Ireland particularly easy to do. Yeah, because, you know, that is real life to a lot of people who lived through it, and yeah. So it is hard for me to do. So it is outside of my comfort zone as such. But big girl, small town, if you don't skip half the thing, it has been compared to Derry Girls, and I can watch that. So, and it's also, I think it has been compared to Milkman. So, and from what I can tell, because I don't know a huge amount about it, it's like a 27-year-old who has autism, though I'm sure, she doesn't know or isn't said, and she works in the fish and chip shop. Her dad has died as part of the Troubles. It's a comedic, mostly, novel, and her granny gets murdered, and she becomes the centre of attention. That's really all I know, except it is highly recommended by Eric Carolandis, and I think Shaun the Book Maniac actually did read this one and recommended it too. I have a vague memory of it. He definitely read this one. I recommended this one. This one has also been read. A lot of real life people keep telling me, get over it, who would have the same issues with reading things based in the Troubles. This is based in happens during the Troubles in the 1970s, but doesn't specifically reference it. It's just the background of the story. One Milkman by Anna Burns won so many bloody awards a couple of years ago. Most people know a hell of a lot more about it than I do. This is almost a brand new copy I bought from a charity shop for €1, and I'm sure it's the same thing somebody else said. I have to read it, and I just gave it away because it's difficult to read sometimes. But this is the second one. I believe there's a black comedy in this one, and obviously the writing is meant to be tremendous. Okay, next question. I wish there was a way to put the laptop a little bit higher. Or is for recommended a book or theme, Doris. Oh yeah. Featured on our channel that intrigued you. Tell us about it and the books you've read or want to read, thanks to Doris. Okay, turn you off while I go backwards to reach the book. The real reason I don't let you see me bend to get the books is my hair really needs a wash. So the sooner I get out of that room, the better. So this one, I think it was it's probably about 2018-ish. Doris did a review of this book, where she really, really loved it. I think she was reading an awful lot of, if I can remember at the time, a lot of books about Judaism, and was she reading Islam at the time? I can't remember. But she had a whole review on this one, The Dovekepers, Alice Hoffman, which I had read her Practical Magic book of. And I was convinced to pick it up. It's based on a real point in history. It's about 70 AD according to the back of the book, and 4 women. Yeah, and it's a piece of history. 900 Jews are held out for months against armies of Romans outside the Judean desert. But as a result of that video, that one, I got this book. In fact, it has no sticker at the back, which means I bought it online, which means I probably bought it while she was talking about it. I probably and I've not read it, so it's time to read it, I suppose. Okay, next book. Okay, I forgot to read the next question. So the question is, I is for Indeed. She's crazy about cats and bees. A book about cats or bees and any other animal, or notably featuring them in the story and or cover. I stretched this to the limits because I was looking for a book on cats, and I went past my unhauled books. I'd say I just dropped these, and I've damaged both of them. And I went past my unhauled books, and I came across a book which actually has the title Cats in it, which is not actually about cats. So I'm stretching this a little bit. I'm sure the kitties won't mind. And I do think this might be a book that Doris might be interested in. I picked this up from the Booksupstairs, which is a bookshop in Dublin, and I got it obviously online because we're not allowed in. So it's The Stray Cats of Homs by Nour. Particularly, it's probably on my mind a lot because this is the 10th anniversary of the start of the civil war in Syria, and this is a fictionalized, it's fiction, but it's basically a fictionalized biography of whoever Eva Nour's real name is. This is a pseudonym, husband who was in the army in Syria, and about the impact of the war. So unlike a lot of books that are out, which is about people who have left Syria over the last 10 years, this is about somebody who's remained inside, and what it's like. And it's very highly ranked on Goodreads and very highly ranked by friends of mine. So I have to read this. The other one is, I cheated again. Okay, so for bees, I chose wasps because this was near, not to dropping it and ruining its dust jacket. It was such a shame because it's so pretty. And that's The Orchid and the Wasp, which by Caolinn Hughes, which is not actually even about wasps. But it does actually have wasps on the cover, and it's nothing to do with bees, because wasps and bees are completely different things. And this one has a female protagonist, I believe, who goes from Dublin in 2008 to the start of the economic crisis via London, ends up in New York during, what was that? The 2% or 1% thing? I can't remember the name of that movement. What's the name of that movement? I can't remember the name of that movement. Occupy movement. And she's not particularly liked by most people. She's not meant to be a likable protagonist. I think she starts off in the book and she's selling tablets to restore virginity or something odd. But the language is supposed to be poetic, and people like it, love it, and the people who don't like it, hate it. And I wanted to read it. I have no idea if Doris has read this one yet. It has been out a while, and I just damaged the cover, which is really, really annoying to me. But, you know, books are objects, not people. Okay. Last question is the most important, I suppose. Let's go and get the book. S is for Skyrocket. A book you think Doris might like and that you wanted to read. Let's get that terror doom up into the stratosphere. Difficult to read in multifocals when you're have things at strange angles. So I would suggest How Saints Die by Carmen Marcus with a little bit of trepidation. I am aware that Charles Heathcote, who was the author of the first book, absolutely trashed this for not ending. This book is by Carmen Marcus. It's set as a young child, set in the 1980s, whose mother has gone in to a mental health hospital, and she doesn't quite understand what happened and why she's left London for her daddy. And they live by the sea. Her daddy's a fisherman, as far as I remember. And it's about the myths of Selkies. Her mother was an Irish, or is an Irish Catholic. She's not dead. She's in the hospital. They do visit her there. She's okay. And it's, and her mother has, because it's set in the 1980s. I filmed a vlog just up the road from me, that direction there. Okay, St. Bridget's Well, where people even in 2021 are still dipping rags into that well and tying them on the tree and making their wishes or saying their prayers, depending on whether they're taking it from a Catholic point of view or from the pagan point of view. So we're full of loads of myths and traditions, and as it is St. Patrick's Day, they do influence this book. And there's traditions in here about the dead coming in during, in a nice way, during Halloween, and our main protagonist has to let the dead in, let her granny in, because her mother wishes it, even though her mummy's in hospital at the moment. Yeah, and it is about all these myths and things, and how she built a world around them, and she uses it to survive bullying in school. People who slate the book Don't think the social services are particularly well portrayed. This is from the point of view of the child. It's not, and that's what the child would have thought of those social services at the time, to be honest. That's the way they feel like it. Coming from a family that had quite a few social workers in, that's how they felt about it. Sometimes social workers were your friend and sometimes they were just annoying. And yeah, the language is poetic. Carmen is a poet. Maybe I will take the criticisms in hand that she doesn't tie up her story very well, but life doesn't tie up very well, and I still think this book is amazing. So I think more people should read it, including Doris. So How Saints Die by Carmen Marcus. And that's the end of this. I am going to go for the run. I'm not going to destroy any more books. The butchies have that well in hand. One day I'm just going to show you all the books that they ate. I got rid of one, which, what's her name? Joey actually built a nest in. She was that close to laying eggs in it, and I took the book off her because I found it at the back of a bookshelf. She'd built a nest into it. I took it off her, and the next day she laid an egg on top of the cage, which is, I didn't even realise that's what she was trying to do. So it was a very mean mammal that day. But meanwhile, I hope whatever you're reading, you're watching it, and once more, happy birthday, Doris. It's great getting older. Bye.
Getting back on track today. It's a good thing that we have this mid-month book bash. All right. Yes, I am. So I need to go fill out my spa card. I think that's working on the dusting. It needs to be on there. You know, change the silver to gold once more. And the toenails for sure. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that later. Spring is in the air here. So